Party time is almost here if you live in Greater West Bloomfield, because June 20th is the date for the first Keego Harbor Block Party of the summer. It's the first of 3 block parties set to occur this summer, each one taking place on the 3rd Friday of the month. The first one coming up in June features games, food trucks, and even a performance from the Groove Sons. Sounds like a fun night, and of course, none of this would be possible without the work of the Keego Harbor Parks and Rec Department and the incredible leadership of Kirsten Sonneville-Douglass, who joins us right now on the Splash Live. Kirsten, good morning.
Good morning, Jake. Thanks for having me.
Of course, really excited to be getting into this. I love the block parties. I know everybody else in the community does as well. And I'm curious, how have the Keego community's block parties evolved since their initial inception, and what local traditions would you say have emerged from them?
So the Keego Block Party is kind of an evolving event. We started it a long time ago when, and it was actually before the, let me start again. It's evolved. The Parks and Rec started it, and it was a transition from an organization who did skate night, and we wanted to make it more of a community event. And so we kicked it off with one, just trying to activate our park, bring some live music into the park, which was one of my goals. And it was really well. And then everyone was going, so we're going to do this like every weekend, right? And we're like, tap the brakes. That's not really doable. But it was something that we could say, hey, we could do it probably once a month for the summer. And so the Block Party series then evolved from that. And it's just wonderful to see our community come out, just connect, to have fun with listening to live music, having some snacks or dinner with some friends, playing some of the games, right? We've got Connect 4. We also have the golf ladder game and a couple of other ones, some big Jenga. And then we have local artisans and crafters that come out there too. So it's just wonderful to see the community just come together.
That's absolutely right. I think you made the right call with once a month, because that makes it so much more special and so much more important for everyone in the community to get involved. And Kirsten, what impact have you seen these events have on neighborhood engagement and residents feeling more connected?
I love that we can meet with new neighbors, right? And meet, I've got a young son. And so all of a sudden it's like, oh, I didn't know there was another kid his age. And so then just connecting that way, also getting others to volunteer. None of this happens without volunteers. And so getting other people that come to the events, and they'll be like, well, I'd love to volunteer. How can I contribute to my community? And that's actually what got me going into Parks and Rec. It started off when we moved to Keego Harbor, coming to the holiday event as well as the egg hunt. And I was like, this is amazing. And having a young son at the time going, I have an event background. How can I lend those skill sets to my community? And the rest is history.
Wow, great start for all of these events, and everyone has so much to look forward to with this year's lineup for the Keego Block Parties. A great food truck every month and a great band every month. I'm curious, how do you choose the artists and the food trucks that are featured at this event, and what roles would you say local businesses play?
Great question. So the bands, a lot of them are bands that reach out to us. Sometimes it's just me going and looking at local venues, like B1 has live music, Gino's has live music. And so tapping into some of those, we have some local entities, people that reside here in Keego Harbor. And so last year we used the Dudes. So we try not to do the same one every year, so like trying to cycle them through. So we've invited the Dudes for next year. Speaking of the food trucks then, just that's for me reaching out. You hear people mention that, hey, there was a truck rally. This one was fantastic. And so them reaching out to them, they book out fast. So we start planning this event almost a year in advance to make sure that we have enough food trucks. We only have one food truck. The event isn't large enough to be able to manage 2 food trucks. We want to make sure it's business, or it's good business for the food trucks as well. So come hungry, come support them, so that we can continue that tradition.
That doesn't surprise me that the food trucks get booked very, very quickly because summer's obviously very busy season. It's prime food truck season. They're going to be busy and they're going to be all over the place. But I love hearing these stories about these connections that come from the Keego Block Parties, as you mentioned earlier. And these have been going on for a few years now. Do you have like a memorable story of a child or a family whose experience at the block party has stood out to you?
I love the kids, right? I mean, I have a kiddo, and I love watching them dance to the music. I love watching them, color with the chalk on the sidewalk, and so then we get to see that when we're walking by the next week, if Mother Nature is kind to us, and to see the colors, so that just lasts there for at least a whole nother week of just seeing our community gathering and stuff. We have a fall one. It's not part of the Keego Harbor Block Party series, but it was the first kickoff of our fall event, and to see a youth band play, and so the kids got so excited to see, oh my gosh, they're little kids, and they're not little kids, they're youth performing, but that's more tangible for them, and it was so amazing to see them just be enthralled with that music.
I'd imagine so. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Kirsten Sonneville-Douglass from Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation, talking about the Keego Harbor Block Parties that are making their way back to the community for the summer season. The first one's set to take place on June 20th. Now, Kirsten, in what ways do you hope the block party events help young artists and entrepreneurs grow within Keego Harbor, especially with something like Art Sale?
Right, so they can come walk around. Every year we have more artists and more crafters coming and participating. So it'd be amazing if, we have a little young entrepreneur that wants to join it. They can reach out to Art Sale on Facebook. We would love to have them. We had a couple of them actually at the fall event that I was talking about specifically. So everyone is welcome. Everyone, we hope, would continue to participate. And so we encourage them to reach out.
Awesome. Always love to hear it. Now, with events like these, especially ones that have stood the test of time and have become such fixtures in the greater West Bloomfield community, how does the Parks and Recreation Department measure the success for these kinds of community events?
We measure it mostly by attendance, but also how engaged are our community members, right? Every year, the Block Party, there are more attendees. And so for us, that's successful. It takes a good 5 years for an event to kind of be solidified. And so we're not there yet. We're almost there. And so every event we see more and more. The struggle is it's an outdoor event. And so Mother Nature, if there is a chance of rain, we will see a drop in attendance, but that's not any fault of the actual event. And so we kind of take that in stride, but every event we've seen more attendees. And so for us, that's a success.
Well, I think this event is going to be sticking around for a very, very long time. It truly is a staple of the Keego Harbor community. And I got one more question before we wrap things up, Kirsten. What community feedback have you received that helps shape the planning for future block parties? And how can West Bloomfield area neighbors get involved?
Just volunteering, but the community feedback has been really positive. People really enjoy it. The problem is the event, people want it longer, but it's outdoors. And so for us, we have to take, the feedback and then apply it to it. If we have that event go until 9:30, it's dark, especially in the September event. The July event, different, right? So we wanted to try to make this event something that was scheduled, and so that it is something that everyone knows. It'll always be the third Friday of June, July, and August. So you put it on your calendar, and then we don't have to think about the date itself, okay? And we'll promote that with the date, but that it is something that every community member can know. The block parties are the third Friday of June, July, and August. Also, it doesn't overlap usually with any of the other community events that are happening in the greater West Bloomfield area. A lot of those happen on weekends, or if it's a school-related event, those will have happened prior. So we're trying to be mindful, because we're all very involved in our communities, that we're not overlapping or competing with other events.
Important dates for everybody to remember. The first Keego Block Party taking place on June 20th. Hope to see everybody out there. Kirsten, thank you so much for joining us today here in the Splash Live.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for your support always.